Slowly but surely my design skills are improving. Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. I've spent a lot of time in Figma this week redesigning my portfolio and some old projects. And I've also finished the weather app from the Odin Project. Quite happy with that. Then I moved on to learn about JavaScript testing. Welcome to the series where I show you what I am doing to try and become a web developer. My name is Craig and this is week 30. Let's dive right in to see how much time I've spent on web development this week. The total time is 21 hours and 20 minutes, and that's broken up as 8 hours 45 for tutorials, 12 hours 5 minutes for project, and then 30 minutes on career stuff. I'm now over the 600 hour mark for learning web development, which is crazy, but I still got a lot of hours to put into it. This week I attended a webinar hosted by Wagon. They are a company that does software development and web development bootcamps. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check them out. But they also do free webinars occasionally, and this is the first one I attended. This was all about UI UX for entrepreneurs. I really just wanted to improve my UI UX skills. Generally, the webinar was good. There was some interesting bits. There was a free Excel sheet I got, things like that. It did get a bit boring during the Figma section. I started to turn off a little bit and I was opening other tabs and got very distracted. But overall, it was good. I might have a look at some of their upcoming webinars and see if I can attend them as well. Then for the Odin project, as I said, I finished the weather app. I may make some changes to the design. I'm not entirely sure yet. But then I did move to the JavaScript testing section. And I'll be honest, I have really struggled with this. I understand why we need to do testing. It makes total sense. Well on board with doing that. It's just, I think it was the mocking part of testing that really confused me. I just could not get that into my head. So yeah, I definitely need to find some more YouTube videos and articles to try and explain it in a different way to see if I can understand it. Maybe try and find somewhere I can practice it. I don't know. There was a few exercises that I did through the Odin project. They were fine, but I want a bit more practice, I guess. And then finally, just general design skills. Being on YouTube, watching design course, a few of his videos, about colors, placements, just things like that. All very useful. It's just trying to implement them and make things look good now. Let's dive over to the computer and see what I've been building. So I'm going to go through the weather app first, show the code a little bit for my JavaScript testing, and then walk through the Figma design for liquid ignition and the Figma and what I've done so far for my new portfolio. Let's dive right in. The weather app, as you can tell, I've made a few changes from last week. Previously I had this background image which didn't look great, and then these images were really stretched. Pretty bad there. I have got the search function working. This works for mobile as well. It will just go to a one column layout. The design, I do like it. It's quite simple, but is it too simple? That's what I'm a bit concerned about. Also, if you see on mobile, it looks like it gets cut off a little bit there. I need a bit of margin on the bottom. And again, this just updates the weather. I did have a little bit of issues with this. So when I search for a new country, it was adding multiple event listeners on this. So I've had to move that all to the header, and it sorted it out because it was doing the calculations 2 or 3 times. I also believe there is an issue with the timing. So this is my local time, but say if I search for New York City, it's still got my local time, and I thought it would be 8 hours behind. I don't know if maybe I've done something wrong or if it's supposed to do that. That's not brilliant in my eyes. Also, the wind speed and pressure, I need to add labels to them. But yeah, generally I'm quite happy. Links are all working. Next up, here's the code for my JavaScript testing practice that I was doing. If you want to have a look at that, feel free. It's on my GitHub. Then the liquid ignition site. Let's just turn off comments for now. So I started off, this is the original design that I've built. A big header image, and grids and stuff like that. And my idea here is this is going to be a video, and I'll have scroll animations for the first 2 pages. So you'll scroll and it will go to the next page, and scroll again, the video will stop and it will come up with these images. Now there's a few things I'm not 100% sold on. So I quite like the idea of this overlay, but I think it makes the text a little bit hard to read. This might be better. So I'd really like your opinion on that. Which one do you think works best? The full page overlay or just the overlay on the nav bar? I've also never actually really done a scroll animation or a video in HTML and stuff like that. So this is going to be quite interesting. This is where I think the overlay doesn't work very well. That looks terrible in my mind. I really do like the idea of having the text go across the image. And I've tried to play around with blend mode, and it just does not do much. So I probably need a bit more research going on there, because I think that would be a really cool idea to have like the text going across the image with like the text popping out. But if I can make that work, great. Otherwise, I'm going to have to move the text over here somewhere. Similarly, I've got the next kind of event, but swapped sides. Again, this will be like a scroll animation. That's my idea of it all anyways. And then all the drinks. So selection of drinks. Probably do something where on hover, it will have an overlay with the drink name. Maybe some of the ingredients, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what any of these drinks are. But I think having like the full page and like no borders, I think that's a really nice look compared to if we go down here, I had a grid gap on them all. I think just pushing them all together is a really nice way to display that. And I still need to build up my contact page, but that should be pretty simple. So yeah, I'd love your thoughts on which of these looks best. And then finally, my portfolio. I've been playing around with this quite a bit. So this is the original design. I've accidentally removed the skills from this page, but yeah, this is the original design. And this is kind of where I'm going with it. I wanted more bright colors. I've got animations going on there. There's a few things I was questioning about. So down here, I've got my project cards. I was playing with the idea of putting my projects within the hexagon to keep that like hexagon running throughout, but I don't think that works very well. Also, as I'll show you in a second, these have got shadows on them to add some depth, but how I've coded it up right now is using a mask, and I don't think I can add a shadow whilst using a mask. But before I go into my actual code that I've been doing, I used GIMP and Inkspace to... Inkspace was for the hexagons to create those SVGs, and I used GIMP to remove the background of my image. So it's actually the same image as this one, but I've just removed the background. I think that adds a really nice look. I mean, yes, you can tell it's not the clearest image because I'm not great at GIMP, but I thought that was really cool. At the minute, I've only built it for mobile, and I want to refresh it because there's some animations going on. As you can tell, the hexagons slide in. These kind of flash a little bit to say it's like scroll down almost. I think that was a really nice touch. And again, I've got like hover effects, but as I'm on mobile, it's touch. I'm in 2 minds about actually putting my CV on there. I've got it there at the minute, but I may just have this as a contact now button. I'm not too sure on that. Diving into the code quickly. So I've been building this all with Webpack and JavaScript modules. I need to have a little bit of a think about this because I haven't got kind of a navigation. Well, I do have a navigation, but my idea is it's going to clear down the page and then repopulate it depending on which button is clicked. I need to think about what the best way is to implement that. 2 sections that I really like at the minute. So first up is this skill section. I created an array of objects, which I then pass into this function. So it's a reusable function. I thought that was really cool. You know, I create the div, I create the icon, and then I create the P element. So that's all these. I just inspect that. So that's my div. It gives it an ID. I've got my classes for font awesome, and then a label for what the skill is. I thought that was a really nice idea. So there I've got the name and the class, and I just used the name. Ooh, is that going to mess up my name for GitHub actually? Let's inspect GitHub. Oh, it still has the ID for GitHub there. I might change that. I might add an ID field because I don't want Git and Hub as my ID there. And then secondly, I haven't actually got this implemented yet, but I'm going to do the same thing with a project card. So I've got the name of the project, the image, description, and link. And I'll just have an array of projects again that I'll populate using the same method. And that will all go on in this homepage. So that's my redesign at the minute. As I said, I quite enjoy it. It's bright, it's colourful, and it's a lot different to my current portfolio. That is everything for week 30. I did make a few changes to my CV. I updated a few projects on there, and I've applied for 2 more jobs. Next week, I would really like to start the Battleship project, but I'm only going to start that once I'm a bit more comfortable with JavaScript testing. I also really want to finish my portfolio, get that sorted and get that uploaded, and hopefully if I get time, I'll make a start on the Liquid Ignition redesign, the code for it that is. All the links will be down below if you want to go check them out. And as always, I would greatly appreciate your thoughts and advice. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you'd like to see more, then please subscribe. Hope you all have a good day, and I'll catch you later.